All right, everybody, welcome back for another episode of Leading Crypto. Happy Hump Day. We are once again getting humped by the market. Today, we're going to be diving into our faves as always. We got Bitcoin, the SPX, Ethereum. There's a couple of news events that, we're going to touch on a little bit here as well. Give some ideas and just kind of overview it a bit, see if it correlates to the price action or if, this was already a move that was underway. So if you think that information and this content is valuable, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Stick around through the entire thing. We do this Monday through Friday every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we're just going to jump right into it. It's a beautiful 90 degrees here in Fort Myers, Florida. Have to imagine that Dubai is, straight chilling as well. And then Magic. What are we sitting in Kansas City there, sir? A brisk 11 degrees.
I don't even know. Don't rat me out to my neighbors, but this is the first morning I didn't pick my dog's poop up. It was so cold. I was like, we just need to
get Wow, your neighbors are definitely watching this, man. Like
no, for sure.
They're the feds.
But it's not warm. It was like 10, I think, something like that. Some snow on the ground, so not ideal, but we make do. So it's about as hot as the crypto market right now. Let's just put it that way. That's a great way to segue into the charts even. So
heard that.
But I'm gonna be enjoying that 90 degrees or whatever you're at out there soon. So yeah, Bitcoin, guys, hasn't really done much since we've been down here other than kind of just sideways and slightly down. You're making a lower high here. Obviously, we would love to see this move up into this region of the chart. We front ran the gold pocket a little bit here on this wick. Would love to see that move up, take some of those stops out. But if we get that, who knows? But that is the next play. The problem with that is that 16,800 was really just a big level that I had been watching on ATAS, just watching it come in through all the sessions of just being super crucial. And you can see you're giving that up and coming down to intermediate support right here at 16,300 or so, give or take. The issue with this is if you start living below this, we talked about how this isn't really exactly a great low for price right now. It's something we can revisit, the idea that, when we were looking at the order flow when we came down here a handful of days ago, better part of a week, the low was not convincing. So we knew that in all likelihood at some point we'll come back and take it. Now, you had a very similar thing with this low here and again with the 32K low. And the reason I bring that up is it took time to get to those lows and be taken. So they were still poor lows, but they weren't taken for quite some time. So depending on how long we have to wait here is my question, and if we'll get continuation. How you approach an area is just as important, but my targets haven't changed really. If I get another opportunity to stack another short up here, let's say that we get up there and it's a good reaction, then yeah, I'm gonna look to add to those positions. It's really all I've been interested in is taking those positions. And not adding any fresh longs or anything. I did scalp this morning the value area low of like the New York session and the daily session a handful of times, then just let it be because I'm expecting this daily to get tapped. But realistically, yeah, the local low is probably still a target, and then I'm looking for 13,880 and lower after that. Nothing's really changed in that department. And price isn't doing anything that's very convincing. So a lot of bad things still going on in the market now. SPX has done something pretty interesting. You've obviously got your volume target above you. However, you have run into the gold pocket here. So you've come up, you've taken the high from the other day. I think it was like Friday. You took Friday's high, swept it, and now you're coming back into your regression here. So if price starts falling back below like 3,900 bucks, yeah, you could be looking at this as coming back to this support area here between 36.62 and 36.60 or 37.64, excuse me, kind of a wide zone, but that's your 2021 open and 2021 low from last year. And if that's happening, we've talked about what we expect out of Bitcoin. Obviously the correlation where markets were going up and Bitcoin wasn't is not a good look. It just shows that there's additional weakness inside of the market, in my opinion. And then you have DXY coming straight into our little box here, and we were looking at this for potential strength. And so this was the area that I posted on Twitter. It's the area we've been covering, that we were looking at this as rejection point here. up at the weekly gold pocket. Now you're looking at this as intermediate support, nice bounce, and you're looking at coming down to 105,674 was the number given. You put in a nice SFP here. You're at the gold pocket. You're also at the 382 of one of the larger pools. So you've got fib convergence there, and I would be looking for something kind of like this right here. Nope, that is actually a reversal pattern I was looking for, which we did get. I'd be looking for something like that over time. My days were off by a few days here. What are we on the 4 hour? How many days off was I? Was I a day off? So timing wise, yeah, I'm like 3 or 4 days off here for the pivot. So we'll see what kind of reaction we get out of this area if it can set up and make a move into, a back test of like 110 or so, which would be not great for Bitcoin. That would initiate that next leg down, and then I'd be looking to come back and actually back test this 12-month support kind of nicely. So we'll see what we get. Obviously, markets aren't about predicting things kind of like that. They're more about taking the best trade when it's available. So it's just an idea, and it kind of supports the idea that if we are going to get another leg down in terms of crypto, likely that's how the fashion it's going to go. That's the way we're going to see it happen. So kind of been bored trading the last few days. It's been very boring. I hate to be that guy and say that, but if the markets could do something, that would be great. Ready for a little more volatility, I guess. I got spoiled by all of that. So
agreed. As long as you are careful what you ask for, in the sense of being prepared for which way you're going to go.
Yeah.
So I agree with Magic. The last 2 days have been absolutely awful because they've offered no real trades. We had, so yesterday you were trending up the whole day, but you had maybe 1, 2 tops chances to get into the trades. And really, they weren't really the best chances. You had an SFP here around 3 o'clock of 3 o'clock my time, whatever time that is for you guys. For you guys, it'd be like night time. So you had that one chance, and it wasn't really there in the order flow as well. So it wasn't the best trade. Now overnight, I know midday for you guys, you got a really sweet SFP, and hats off to Right Way, a new member in the group. He took that trade. Hopefully he took profits, but what a trade. I was very jealous when I woke up and saw that in the morning. That was the only really good trade that you could really spot yesterday. From looking at it for as long as I have, there wasn't that many ways to get into a short in anticipation of effectively the drop to come. Because if you're looking at the golden pockets, you wash through them from here. Yeah, you wash through them, so that wasn't really giving you anything to take a trade from. And there was no bearish divergence or anything of that sort. I've scrolled back through and looked for it. There was really nothing. And then today's been a very slow, boring move down. Now on the OI, we said yesterday in yesterday's stream, let me hide the marked for now, that the trend looked good. You had OI increasing with the move. You had Delta increasing with the move. Well, it's all we've done today is effectively give the exact price action that we took yesterday up, and we have also lost all the open interest that we had increased. So all the people that, you could look at it this way, all the people that have effectively longed up here were effectively selling here. It's probably definitely not that way, but it's the easy way of looking at the market. So it doesn't really give us anything to really discuss. Now, in the live trading session that we just had, we were looking at the previous day low being taken. We took the trade. Unfortunately, this little wick came, and I said in the group, Nancy Pelosi was holding me down because we took this trade. We had a great entry, and then look here, you can see 2.3 million here and 1.1 million. These buy orders, these are market buys, and they failed to push the price $10. I swear this is Nancy Pelosi on the other side of my trade. She knew in advance that this, I think it was price of all retail goods. They've got the price increase of that, and it was 1.3 more. It was 1.3 increase when they only expected 0.5. So that's a bearish thing to counteract the core PPI we had yesterday. So it's like one ball in either court. So this was bearish news that came out, and it came and it stopped me out because it was an SFP. It was a nice SFP, but we went over how I could have done better in that trade, and how how to analyze when you take an L of that sort. It was a good trade. It just was unfortunate in that situation. Right now, what I'm expecting, I've mentioned it to the guys just then. Either you need a market structure change here, or it has to be the trade that Magic said below. There's no shorts from here. I'm not going to ever say take a short from here. But the only thing that I can see below is the weekly open. There's also golden pocket there. I'm sure you mentioned that, Magic. There's a gold pocket there. The daily's untapped. And now with this price action that you've got here, the longer time we spend here is okay, as long as the move down into that level is quick. So I really want to see, maybe another hour of price action here. I want to see longs building up as we are getting now. We're getting, buyers coming in. We're getting 1.7 million at the top there on increasing open interest. You're getting 800K here, 1.5 there of shorts closing out. But you want to see, longs building up here. And then you want to see has to be quick for this to be, the better setup. If we're going to spend time, it has to be a quick move down into it. And then you can trade it like an SFP, which we all know and love. You can see stagnating open interest as you come down here, come into the golden pocket. You want to see, a quick turnaround. You don't really want to be living there, and you want to see buyers start to really come into the market as they have failed to do so at any point today. We've had the Asia low was taken in the London session, and the move up was like $40. It was just, it's untradeable. It's really not giving you anything to go off. So it's been difficult to trade today. But yeah, kind of just really easy, pairing with Magic, expecting this to be tapped, and waiting for the order flow when it gets there. Easy. The easiest thing will be a fast move, and one can trade the confirmation. Even if you're just using TradingView, you can now use this low, mark that low out, and wait for whatever happens here, and then you get it back above that level, and then that can be your entry and your stop loss. If not, you're looking for your stop loss down here if you're limiting it. But I don't do that. So wait for whatever occurs here to play out, and that's how I'm really looking at the market right now. It's boring 2 days of trading. That's all I've got, Steve. Yeah.
Beauty. Yeah, we got you had some news come out this week. I suppose, like, what is today? The some more inflation, concepts for the consumer base, kind of leading into, rates essentially still getting raised, possibly in the future here. We got the next Fed meeting next month, coming into the end of the year. And then today as well, I think Magic was mentioning that, another exchange is having some turmoil, right? Or another lending platform, essentially Genesis, that's, possibly integrated around the Gemini name. So that's, it's just the word contagion is getting annoying, but it's definitely something that, all the exchanges are, just getting bank ran, essentially. And, it's kind of showing everybody's cards, I suppose, in the short term, causing some turmoil. And one thing, I want to point out about that too, is that, we've been bringing this up, and not to say like, by any means we have the triggers for it if we get it. And at this point, it's not looking necessarily like we would, but, that can change. But you got a lot of people pulling everything off of exchanges, a lot of people dumping everything they got out of crypto, just in fear that, the exchanges that they're on are going to go down. And then in more fear that just in general, whatever they're holding is going to go down because others are dry. It's just, it's quite the most, fearful time in crypto, I think, that I've ever noticed. And like I said, I've been through the Rona dump, the 2018 fall, which at the time was actually a big CZ Binance issue, amongst other things. But, Binance was actually at the helm of the 2018 dump with their exchange. It's not necessarily being insolvent, but, they were the FTX of 2018, believe it or not, just in a different fashion. And, look at them now. So just interesting to see how things play out over time. What I wanted to kind of showcase here was, we we obviously always correlate Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can't necessarily correlate the entire, markets together all the time. And DXY this last week is a really good example of that, right? We had a move from like 110 DXY down to 105, and at the same time frame, the crypto markets took a hit, right? The stock market did okay. I know that it's the FTX debacle that caused it. That's the news behind it, right? But there's actually many times in history that Bitcoin and the DXY have not been correlated in inverse proportions. So not something that 100% just kind of base off of. Even and in short term, we're anticipating another leg up in the DXY, which can in turn lead into a reason to believe that we would still get another leg down out of crypto. So I guess oxymoron in what I just said, but it is something to note. And with Ethereum and Bitcoin, the two of them fluctuate, within the same price range. I do like Ethereum a little bit more. You get a little bit more juice out of it than Bitcoin most times, right? So for example, you had this drawdown of 27% in Bitcoin. We'll flip it over here to Ethereum in a second. And at the same time, you had 35%, in Ethereum. And then on the run up from June, right, I think Ethereum ran quite substantially, like over 100%. Is this the June low? Yeah. So, Ethereum ran over 100% to the high, and then you only had a 40% move out of Bitcoin, right? So that was actually a pretty big gap there. But generally, they're given, the similar percentage moves. And I bring that up because, a little doom and gloom episode, I suppose. But like I said, we do have the indications for upside and things of that nature if they come. But if you are looking for another leg down and a 15% move, which I'm going to look at Ethereum here in a second, because that does target some of the areas we're looking at. If you get another 15%, we take the low for Bitcoin. Depending on how it looks, we could just come down SFP and take off. But let's just say you get another 15% move. So everybody really wraps their mind heavily around the actual dollar, right? It's like 12K or 10K or whatever. At these levels, like those are really close in sense of percentages. And a 15% drawdown in crypto is a normal day for most of us, right? We're just used to it at this point. I just want to point out 13,800, right? We were talking about that earlier. If you get it, it's a less than 16% move from where we are right now in Bitcoin. All right, and that would also effectively take the low. Once again, you took the June low, you're taking the low here, you'd be coming down, making new lows once again. Now, if you flip it to Ethereum, however,
would take MicroStrategy that.
Take MicroStrategy. Well, he'd just have to put more Bitcoin in. You're not taking him out, dude. He's going to own all the Bitcoin. So for ETH, right, June low all the way over here. Essentially, we've not taken it out. It's still quite a ways away, even from where we are now. So to come down and actually take out that low is a 30% move. So, I mean, definitely, anything's on the table, obviously. One thing I want to point out, we've talked about this multiple times, is you really don't want to get this low taken out on Ethereum, because there's a huge inefficiency in the market right below that. And if that opens up, it's probably a quick move down to 528. Pit stop at 7 something, and then, you really got a bigger issue on your hand, right, across the board in the whole market. But correlating this to the Bitcoin idea, if you see a 10-12% move, it come down, take the low. Ethereum's got a level right below it that we've been looking for, and by no means is this like, oh, this is just the holy grail, this is the buy everything. This is, if anything, going to offer up a pit stop, a bounce area, whatever. But this would offer up about a 15% move, right? So equivalent, what Bitcoin could see here in the drawdown would still, you'd have Bitcoin at a new low, and you'd still have Ethereum not making new lows yet. So something, very interesting to kind of dictate there. But we're still looking for that untapped daily, at least in the downturn. I got the range low, aka basically the June low at this point. And then you got the Quinceañera Devil's Basement down at 528, right? Those are still the remaining areas to the downside that I'm, heavily getting involved with in the short term. If you lose that, I mean, like I said, you got big problems across the board. One thing I did want to point out that most people may be looking at in the short term here, right, as far as a breakout trade or a pattern, right? You got like a bearish pennant that could be, taking place here. And depending on how you're going to draw it out, if you're doing through wicks, whatever, if this breaks down, you got measured move essentially, right? It takes you down to, I'm just correlating these together, not saying this is, once again, the only thing you should be looking at, but it's just, levels you out to this region as well. It takes you down to about $1,000, right? Sub 1,000. So in that region right there, it would be an interesting area to note. I mean, we'd be really paying attention to Bitcoin as well. I do want to point out we are living once again, I mean, we've been really grinding it out at this Q2 point of control, this 1221, right? This is the area I really wanted to see held. We're consolidating basically right on top of it. So I mean, it's either way at this point. But if you start breaking lower, I mean, we do have our target down below. I say 1,000 to 1,034, because if you look at this daily level, right on a wick base, comes all the way over here. We actually have another daily right here too, just not to be overlooked. It'll probably offer up a little speed bump there, 1,100. But the wick of this comes down to $1,000.08. So something to kind of keep in mind there. But you have not closed below since this push back up below that point of control on the daily time frame. So that's something I'll be keeping an eye for. 7 p.m. Eastern, obviously, on the daily. Start closing dailies below here. I think that we're going to run the gambit down to the downside there. So otherwise, as far as the upside for ETH, it really does still remain the same. I mean, it's we're losing support at the moment, but if you come up and claim this, you still got this quarterly key level. You got the point golden pocket, at least at the moment, unless we start making a new low, does correlate with about 1447. You can kind of have put some more risk on, of course, ahead of time. But this is really the area I'd be looking for to see if we can actually claim that for any more upside. Because otherwise, even if you did run it back, you very well could just get a run and then just come back down once again, another lower high, right? So mid to long term idea there, right? So a couple days, weeks, however. And then
Send it
trade
all
of
to
the
zero.
day, definitely. What's that?
Send it all to zero.
Send it all to zero. Trade of the day, man, was definitely 3 a.m. for me, which I was not awake for, sadly. But tracking previous day range data here, right? Had a nice little grind out. Basically came up, lost your point of control, daily pivot, back test your VWAP. I mean, that was definitely a key. At least you're going down to the previous day value very low, your daily open. Flipping this one, however, this was the money shot, right? Flip, back test the VWAP at the same time, close back below previous day val, below your daily open, below your daily pivot, below your previous. I mean, you're below everything at that point. At least down to the weekly open was the move, and then since then we've continued. So that would have been the move at hand, in my opinion. And now we wait.
Yeah, the only thing I'll emphasize is, you hear us all say it, we're giving levels, and I always say don't diddle in the middle. So, the best trades come from the people that are going to be patient and wait for those levels. So if you're new to trading, or even if you're not and you're just having issues, I would just say exercise a little patience, and then, don't marry a level just because it's there. Just because it shows up as support doesn't mean it will be when you get there, things like that. So that's why we emphasize, like, you really need to trade the reaction, especially in moments like this. You don't want to be taken along at like 16,300 or 15 and some change at the low there, and then just get blown out because you didn't even have time to set your stop because you just marketed in because you got itchy trigger finger. I would say be cautious. The best trades are well above us, around like 17.5 to 17.7, or below us on like an SFP or a failed auction at the low of the range. So until one of those gives, the rest of this stuff really isn't. It's just going to chop you alive.
Agreed. What's anything coming up in the near term here? Is it just as far as like big policy meetings? It's pretty much just
December 4th is the next meeting, and I can't remember what it was. I can't remember if it's CPI or if it's a jobs report, but I want to say December 4th, then the 10th or 14th. I'll have to get out the list. I used to have them memorized, but it's been a few weeks, so I've obviously forgotten. But I know the 4th is a date. So,
yeah.
I doubt if we chopped around till the 4th, that would be kind of surprising. But
right.
Then I would start looking and thinking of this as the dump after the giant descending triangle from 2019. You lingered for about a month and then had a massive 42% pump, and it ended up being a scam pump in 2 days and just absolutely annihilated shorts, and then just gave it all right back over the course of a week or two, and made new lows even. So that would be the only other scenario I would entertain. And I think, you know, you're going to see that coming because you're going to start reclaiming things like 17.5. You know, you're going to be living above 18K. Those scenarios that people were saying, like, it's going to eventually like rocket up and skyrocket. I mean, there's definitely signs that tell you that's going to happen. It's just, you know, we're not seeing any of that. So not worth putting the eggs in that basket, in my opinion. Because I think they've been putting the eggs in that basket all the way down, haven't they? We're gonna eventually, all these guys that are short, et cetera, they're gonna run the shorts. But the entire time we were at, you know, 20K, people were building long positions because they thought that was the low. So who stood to get hurt the most? It was the people like building long positions down there. So yeah, I would just be careful. I mean, I've go through my feed more than I should here recently because it's been very entertaining. And you say what's going on, and like you would think the sky is either falling or this is all a big ruse based on everyone's reaction. You know, everyone's either I'm all in the market or I'm all out. If you're not buying Bitcoin, you're a loser. If you are buying Bitcoin, you are a loser. You know, that's what they're telling you right now. Everyone's a loser right now, according to what side of the, you know, opinion table you're sitting on. So kind of, like I said, guys, try to stay as neutral as possible, but know which way the trend is going. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, no, for real. And it very well is. It's always an interesting, you know, kind of when you take a minute and just look around to see, you know, what the reactions are. And some people, you know, and you see a lot of flip-flopping at times. And, you know, one thing is, you know, we remain neutral here, right? So this is the idea, is that, you know, there's indication on what we're going to do and look for in the short to mid to long term, right? All across the board. And it depends on how you're looking at it. But then there's others that really just, you know, are one way or the other only, you know, the whole way down, right? This is the bottom, this is the bottom. Oh, you know, I was wrong. And, you know, FTX, I could never predict that. So I'm just DCAing anyway. So I just get a cheaper price for Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter. I was, you know, it would have still been the bottom if it wasn't for FTX. And like, that's the one way mindset, right? Just and then you got the others that are just instant, you know, flip flopping on $1,000 moves. You know, if you get a pump out of Bitcoin, you'll literally see genuine, you know, bull run is back on type of, you know, mindset, and then you'll get just the, you know, pull back right to where you were. And I mean, it's just back and forth. It really is. It's just eating everybody alive. And you know,
Sniper
like
makes a really good point there. He said if it goes up in like 3 weeks, that like weird kind of like bullish case I gave where it was like, you know, if we actually did squeeze out people that were in the market right now, he goes, it'd be back to Bitcoin to 70K in no time. That you would literally see people saying that it would happen, and it would happen right at the top of that move probably.
right.
That's when it happened. Yeah. But did that happen in 2019? It was because China unbanned Bitcoin, and that was the catalyst, but it had been building massive divergences, and the play was there. And I was long going into that, and the entire move up was just so shockingly fast, and people were literally within one day after dumping from 14K all the way down to like 7, I think. I don't think it quite hit the 6s. People were already like, Bitcoin's going back to 20K. You know, like we're just going to completely skip over 14K and go straight to 20. It was crazy to watch. But you know, that's the world we live in. Everyone's pretty emotionally attached to this because they're all probably overexposed.
They were right eventually.
They will be right eventually. And there is that weird narrative that Bitcoin can only go up. And I hope it does go up, because that short that I have from 40K will pay me handsomely when I get to close it one day. However, if Bitcoin goes to 0, it doesn't do me any fucking good, does it? Same with Bybit. If Bybit goes under, I probably won't be live for a while, guys. I'll be fucking jumping off my roof. Yeah.
So this is the move that, you know, once, you know, not to say it's going to happen like this by any chance, but this is just a really good showcase of, you know, where we very well could be in a short term, right? Like, and if you get one of these pushes up, is what we were just talking about, right? That you had this huge move where, you know, Crypto Sniper was talking about, if we go back to whatever, you get a push in the next couple of weeks here, the recipe that everyone would be basing off of is if you get a decent push. I mean, this right here was the President Xi for China move, right? I don't remember what they unbanned cryptos, that you said?
Yeah, they banned Bitcoin and then they unbanned it. That was
Right,
the first
so
time they unbanned it. First time.
and you had a one day 41% move in Bitcoin,
Yeah.
right? So just like anything else, quick move up, quick move down, and everybody gets super excited on that. Whatever. And if you were to see a move like that now, which would only really push us back up to like 20K, right? 20,688 would be an interesting level to get pushed back up to. But like you said, like if this happened in the course of the next couple of days or weeks here, the timing right now is we're a year into the bear market, so the bear market could very well be over. That's what the ideas would be. You got hash ribbon buy signal occurred a few months ago. You got whatever the case is. You got the midterms are like everybody will talk themselves into why the bull run would be back on, right? And everybody's FOMO on missing out on the bottom will very well be kicking in. For only to only just like Magic said, like this ended up coming down, making absolutely new lows compared to where we were, obviously not from the original low. So yeah, just once again, we'll be bringing it to you live every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. In the Leading Crypto Discord server, obviously we cover a lot more in detail the entire market. I go over a lot more altcoins in there as well. We were live trading this morning, Max and I. Magic and Max go live trading quite often for Bitcoin with order flow and open interest. I take a look at Ethereum, and that's just in the what's in front of us. So it's not to say that it's all about just going all into the market and hodling on at this point. The days of sheer what do you call it when you're just aping in, right? Aping in and holding, and just everybody becoming the winner is just those times aren't right now, right? You have to manage your money and your portfolio accordingly, and it's just really is a time where these rips are just unfortunately for selling at the moment, right? And until that changes, so. Yeah, I think that's about all we got. Nice kind of short and sweet. News wise, like guys, I bring them up in the beginning. We kind of touch on it a little bit, but it's there's so many others that are touching on the news. I mean, you guys can get that anywhere else. So
Your boy Trump's running again. How about that? There you go.
Is he running?
Yeah, he said he's running. He announced it. Trump 2024.
Oh, we're about to get the 40% push, then, boys and girls.
He actually hates Bitcoin, believe it or not. Remember what he said in June of 2021, that he thinks it's a scam and that he detests it because it's a scam against the US dollar, is what he said.
So did JP Morgan and everybody else a couple years ago.
I don't know why he doesn't like it. They're the same color, bro.
Stupid. Oh, that's a good
Both
one.
orange.
That's gonna be my that's gonna be my tweet of the day.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's my timeline is political or like cryptocurrencies imploding right now in terms of Twitter. So I don't get on there too much unless most of the stuff I put on there now is trolls. So if you guys see a YouTube link from me on a post to Blockchain Boy, go ahead and click that, turn the volume way up and enjoy.
Don't. I warn you now. Don't. I think my think I'm a weirdo.
Turn the volume way up.
Bring your
make sure you're in public. Like a library would be great.
The library. Awesome. Well, that's all we got for you all today. We'll be back at it again tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, like we said, right here. If you guys found our information and content valuable, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in joining the Leading Crypto Discord server, we do have the information in our information box below. We do have member-only market updates twice a week, Wednesday night and Sunday nights at 9:30 p.m. Sundays right after the weekly close, and then the midweek on Wednesday, which is tonight. So we will be covering a slew of some new ideas tonight. So for anybody interested or that's in the group, be sure to tune in for that. Otherwise, we'll catch you all in the next video. Have a great afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you're on this beautiful world. And hopefully Magic's neighbors don't find his hot steaming pile of neighborly love.